Good morning, everyone. Our first guest today is Ilya Vasilyev. He founded a hacking school in Moscow about 10 years ago. And that means he has about 10 years of experience to share with you in his talk, The School of Hacking Art. Please give him a warm applause.
Thank you. This is our first presentation in Europe. I was working on this project for 10 years that were sometimes very good, sometimes it was very bad, but I really enjoy what I was doing during these years, despite it was sometimes very hard. I have this PDF file uploaded to the camp website. Anyone already have seen this PDF? Can you raise your hands who have seen it? Okay, because nearly everybody haven't seen this file, it will be the basic of this presentation. Of course, there was a great time the humankind enjoyed on this planet before I opened this school in Moscow. This time was coming from mainly through England. Professor Bull, who designed the Boolean logic that is the basic of modern computing, and Charles Babbage, who devoted his life to creating first computers and even build one of the computer he designed. Then it came from England to United States of America, where mass production of personal computers was started, and computers came to everyone on this planet. And in 80s, maybe earlier, but I think it is mainly in 80s, there was problems between people who are fond of study computer networks, and their society. So this first part of my presentation is about time before the school. The main question of this presentation is what is the hacker, what it means. Is it possible to become a hacker? Because until I opened the school, many people in Russia thought that it is impossible to learn hacking art. There is still unsolved questions if someone must be born as a hacker or can be educated as a hacker. And also another side of this question is what environment is the best for a hacker. So how we can make an environment around ourselves that is best for learning computers, for studying computers, for applying our computer knowledges. First answers. The steps that lead for me to creation this school, of course, the first step is that Donald Knuth started that programming is more like an art than a science. What means the art? The art means that a hacker can have his own programming style, his own style how to design programs. So they can become like different schools of art. Different nations have a different approach of what the art is. In different ages, people have different art. For example, postmodern art, constructivism, decadence. So when Donald Knuth published his first book, The Art of Computer Programming, he bring a new dimension to computer programming. Also, he stated in his lecture in ACM, Association of Computer Machinery, that programming is an art can help in fundraising to create programs, because many artists work for less money. Many artists are prosecuted, but they continue to sing songs, to write poems, to draw pictures, even if they are not giving money, but losing money on this. Also, there can be exhibitions of art, so people can, and one piece of art can cost very great amount of money. So it is totally different approach to creating programs. Then the next great step was when Richard Stallman gives the definition of what is free. Because before Richard Stallman, we had, and in early years after 84, we had, for example, free, programs that are free for non-commercial use. Is there members of FidoNet network, maybe ex-members of FidoNet network in this hall? No, okay. So in FidoNet it was free for non-commercial use. Computer Underground formed the scenes of this art. Art can be applied. It is like a freaking exploring computer and telephone networks, cellular phone networks. We're creating of computer viruses and writing programs who can catch computer viruses. Carding, exploring cards of transport system or bank transfer system. Demo making, this is the most peaceful scene of Computer Underground, just to make good-looking programs. So this was the first answers to the main question of our lecture. Arose first problems, conflicts with society, because many hackers were prosecuted, especially in the United States, just for their desire to know how network works, how computer works. There was a case that we made in Moscow with a great help of 2600, a case of Kevin Mitnick. When he wanted to know how to work mobile phones, it was Motorola mobile phones. He downloaded software, source code of this phone, and was put into prison. This comes from misunderstanding, because society can't understand hackers, how hackers live, how people study computers, why we're all doing this. And it came two barriers. First, informational barrier, because when someone studies computers, his mind has more and more information. And this information make a barrier between a person who don't know this and you know this. So many things you cannot explain just because people have no information how it works. And cultural barrier, because computers that made in America often press some official American point of view that is quite different in other countries. So these barriers and crimes for both sides. So some hackers begin to use our art to for crimes, and as I said, in case of Kevin Mitnick, officials, authorities, government begin to prosecute hackers just because no one can defend this. Even if you do something legal, but experts say that you do something illegal, judges often don't understand. Okay, there were first attempts of building educational system in hackers community. It was before the school. The first is traditional a traditional way of learning by helping each other to study. Education was first in Usenet, mainly in United States, maybe in Europe. FIDENET, it was a network very popular in Russia. So there were just conferences or forums, and every person who want to study some computer language, some technology, come to this forum and find friends, and it was like education from peer-to-peer education. Then there were the first tutors that concerns what hacking art is and teach people to crack computer programs, to learn computer networks. The first such tutor was Ancient Art of Cracking by Bukharo Banzai. Maybe I spelled it not exactly because I was preparing this PDF file in one night in Finland. It was not big time. So I put this like by memory. If someone interesting, I have these files by Bukharo Banzai. I don't know even from what country he is. Maybe from Italy. Don't know. But I have found this first tutor that was teaching hacking art from maybe one of the first such tutor. Also, strong hacker groups arised around universities, where it is natural, where people come with mind to study. We all know a good hackers community in Meet. I admire this hackers community that gives the world Richard Stallman, Eric Raymond, and GPL license. It was from Meet. In Berkeley, BSD distribution, software distributions, they came also from such communities. So these were first attempts, not so fundamental like the approach that I am doing in Russia, but very good attempts. Okay, so now about the opening of the school. A historical situation in what the school was founded. First foreign computers penetrated my country that I was born. I think that in Europe you also experienced the same. You tried to make your own computers, like in England it was ZX Spectrum. Someone has ZX Spectrum, had in these times, yes. Very good computer. We made it in Russia by our own hands. But this always failed. So I think now there are no original European computers. So everything, IBM compatible computers, Apple Macintosh computers, they all designed and came from United States. So it was in Russia. We have also old Soviet school of computer builders. So people designed their own big computers. I have met these computer builders. They are now completely out of work. In the modern world, they can't build their own computers because it takes money, and everywhere is the same American computers. So this audience wanted to reach people, but they can't. Also, the difference in Russia that our main focus is on children, not on students. Because as I said, there were great hackers groups around universities in the United States. Our educational groups are at teenagers. For example, I have my personal educational groups that gather at my house and study computers, and also I have a group in government educational system where people study hacking art in government openly studies. So we have lessons about general public lessons in Russia. I told people about House Computer Club in official environment. Maybe it is it sounds strange for people in Germany, but in Russia it is possible. Also, it was Iron Curtain and informational hunger. So in 80s, where the school was founded in 80s, we have no information, official information, how computer works. We must found it all by ourselves. So if we explore computer, then we have this knowledge, then we can share this knowledge with our friends. If we don't explore, then we know nothing. Some information came from abroad to... Okay. Some information came from abroad to our country, but very little amount of information, and it spread very quickly. So it was information hunger. The situation quite different to nowadays, because now we have very much information, advertisement, and very complex computer systems, and now it is not information hunger, but satiation, how it is, when you have too much food. Yeah. Also, we have different law and ideology system in Soviet Union. So cracking copyright idea is based on idea that you must make money from computer programs, and that it is good. And in our country, making money was a bad thing. So if someone put protection on a computer program, it was good thing to crack this protection, so the people could use this program. So in our ideology system, it was that spreading spreading knowledge is the best, and making money is not so good. So it was like hobby or a game for us, and no one expected that computer networks we were fond of will change the world. Yeah, we played with computers like children play in sandbox, and it's naturally turned to a great mountain in a place where we just study computers. We're fond of it. Okay, so I used already half of time we had, and it's just will go quicker. At the beginning of 90s, the Iron Curtain was broken, and foreign ideology came to us, money, all these problems of America and Europe. So we tried to make a self-organization of hackers community. We made, in 1983, we made a hackers gathering. It was not so large as this House Computer Club. I think it was like this gathering in this. We made several manifestos in Russian language, wrote, and designed a symbol of hackers movement. This one. It was like, you all know, a symbol for a hippie movement, for pacifist, a symbol for energy movement. So we designed a symbol for hackers. At that time, we have government standards came from Japan. It is MS6, and government standards, it is Cyrillic letters that are made in the United States. Also, underground of Europe and United States came to our country. So we have modems, we have built-in board system, and it was also it was interesting situation in Russia that FIDONET united many hackers groups that were in different countries. It united together. So the only language, the only border that became, it is language border. So if a person speaks Russian, he unites to these groups. If the person speaks English, he can unite with the worldwide community. And at that times, they appeared first phreaking in global networks. Internet came, but before we have CompuServe. You know that CompuServe goes with modem. First modems have a connection with CompuServe. So first Russian hackers abused CompuServe service to get internet service. Also it was Sprint networks, and some part of Russian hackers community through networks also explore systems in United States and Europe. And we came to the climax of the speech. It is August 1996, hippie camp in Simias, Black Sea, where we had some martial art seminars. And young people who studied martial art, he said, so you are a member of hackers community, so teach us computer hacking. I said, like maybe many people of you said, that it is impossible to teach computer hacking, you can only learn, but they were not satisfied. Because I have some idea of martial arts schools, I know that if you teach something, that you take the whole responsibility for this teaching activity. Teaching is not so easy, so you must have some educational program, you must have some attestation system, you must have centers, teaching centers. So I tell to them, I will think about it, and in December in Moscow I told, yes, I will open this school. And so the first Hacker Center was, I made an educational program from the very beginning. So it concerns dealing with number systems, dealing with logic, with arithmetics, and it goes to cracking computer programs, it goes to cracking networks and defend computer programs and networks. So the first seminars were about mathematics, but mathematics that is used in real life of a hacker. So in February I made first seminars in Moscow. I gathered all my students that were from 80s and said that there is nothing illegal in study hacking art. So we can do this openly, we can do this in Moscow, in other towns and countries. So we just study, we don't make some illegal activities. Before the seminar, people come to me and told that now it is illegal in Germany to write tools that are used for cracking. In Russia it is not so. But the idea of the school that we take everything that is legal and make it in public. So if it is illegal in Germany to write some computer tools, then maybe it is wise to do this not in Germany. For example, you can go in Russia when you want to study how to write some computer tool that is illegal to write in Germany, and learn it in Russian environment or in other country. So the school is not for illegal activity. The school is just for getting knowledge, for sharing knowledge, for keeping knowledge, and maybe protected those hackers who still don't reach a high level of hackers' ethics. Okay. Organizers tell that I have 10 minutes left of my speech. After 10 minutes you will be able to ask questions. Maybe it will be not to end, but that doesn't matter because we have this PDF file on the website. So it's no reason for me to read it aloud. Software can do this. Also, if you have some personal questions or want to continue this seminar, you can go to my tent. I have registered on Wiki, so you can reach me here. I am in Germany until 11th of August. Then I return to Russia. I don't know when I will be next time here. Okay, so the school year, educational year, begins with entrance examination. So a student must have strong motivation to study hacking art, because often it is very dull to sit just many pages of code, insistence and fearless. Often when I get entrance examination test to students, half of the whole stand up and go away because it was very complex. Many problems that we face in internet are also very dangerous, or people afraid of these problems. So if you have no fearless and if you have insistence, then you reach the goal that you put behind you. For example, now the main revolution that any from you or from the world, anyone can do is to make internet telephony through mobile phones. So if someone writes a program that can use internet telephony, then all companies that take money, charge for international calls, for long distance calls, they will be out of business. But you must have a strong motivation, you must have insistence, so sit at computer and make this code, and you must have no fear. This is very like Linus Torvalds changed the world. Okay, so what is hacker practice? What we do on our lessons? First, you see, this is the school is like interface to the outer world. So the school is traditional interface. It is like karate-do school where people study martial arts. They actually study how to kill people. But karate-do schools exists in many countries, and it is okay because it is cleverly organized. The school is just another tool for hackers of such organization. So here in computer camp, I see people with very strong hackers practice. They go to every tent, people just sit and do their hacking, and no one come and break their practice. So European tradition is already very strong, and I admire this tradition. Also, teacher is not something, some guru with the head packed with all things in the world. No, you know, when I study, for example, assembler, machine code, binary code, it was quite different from the code of these computers that are nowadays. So during hackers practice, we study not something that is in the head of a teacher. We study those computers that are right here, those networks that are right here. So the teacher is not someone who knows how this device works. This is just someone who have studied computers the same way like you do now. For example, here is a person who studied ZX computer many years ago. The ZX Spectrum is quite different from computers that are nowadays. But the experience, the approach of studying computer is the same. So a young boy who faced this computer is the same as young boy that faced ZX computer, the ZX Spectrum in 80s. So there is no magic in the school of hacking. It is just the traditional hacker's way. So my students go to go to computer networks, join conferences, forums in internet, buy the same books. They just have a safe place where they can come and study computers and talk with each other. So this is the experience that I hope will help the whole hackers community. So I think in many countries you can build such hacker centers where people can come just not for illegal activity, but just to study computers, study computer languages. And if the community have such strong educational system, it can be used to study pieces of software or pieces of knowledge that were developed by communities. For example, yeah, this is about hacker centers. For example, in our school there was NASM group and GCC group. So people gather in internet through IRC channel and study assembler language, the product that was developed by community, NASM. Also, I have a person from Russia, from another town, who wanted to study C computer languages. So we used GCC compiler to study these computer languages. So if we build these centers of hackers culture in the world, then we can use it not only to study computers, but also our software products can reach more audience. Okay, so a person who wants to join Hackerdom, he can get some level of understanding computers, networks, select scene. For example, he wants to make viruses or catch viruses, or he wants to crack computer programs or defend computer programs. Select the scene, and then he can help hackers community with this great knowledge. Also, a hacker who already a member of hackers community can go to the center if he has some technique to study it, or for example he develops some computer technique, he can share this technique with other people, and then he goes back to community with greater knowledge or spreading his ideas. Yeah, and this is like a joke that someday maybe we will have temples of free software where people who have problems with Linux or something else can come and have helpful support. I have seen angels here in this computer camp. This is very like. Okay, so I have the last part of this PDF file. It was designed specially for Germany because Germany shows stable interest to the school. When I had a web page counter, it shows that most of hits were from Germany. Most of hits were from Russia, the next were from Germany, and the next was from Israel. I don't know why. Also, here is very great House Computer Club background. It has a history of connection with the USSR and currently a good connection with Europe, excellent connection. And also Germany has very great karate do teachers that already know what the school is and can use their knowledge of school building to help hackers community build a strong center in German. Yeah, this is how to open a hacker center in German. Yeah, already. Okay, so this is the first exercise of the school. If someone wants, he can come to our camp and I can show this exercise. Just an example of a technique that was already developed in our school. Okay. So now you can ask questions.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for the talk. I really enjoyed it. I particularly like this analogy between the ethical issues of hacking and martial arts. I find this much more satisfying than this stupid cracker versus hacker word game that people play. Just like, oh, all the bad guys are crackers and all the good ones are hackers. Whereas martial arts is at least something where people already can understand that there is value in learning a skill that can be used for evil, but there is value in learning it anyway. I'm curious if you've actually had an experience of giving this particular analogy to, say, the press, who are the people who always stumble over this cracker-hacker idea, and how do they respond to your description of hacker as a martial art, or hacking as a martial art?
Okay, I'm sorry, English is not my native language, so maybe I not got the whole idea. I will try to answer. If not, you can repeat. This is IRC talk, so if you have some questions, you can ask by IRC, but I wonder if we can see it. Okay, like backfeed from internet. Hacking art, I use this analogy with martial arts. Because martial arts can kill other people, can harm other people. Hacking also can harm other people, can harm society. And the responsibility is the whole on a hacker. So if you are at computer and you run some exploit or write some computer program, then you have responsibility of what happens in internet, what happens in the world. And hacking practice is practice of taking this responsibility. And so it is connected with hackers' ethics that must be on very high level. But afterwards I realized that hacking is not only martial art, the art of destruction. It is also the art of building beautiful computer programs such as Emacs, such as Linux kernel, such as GCC, many beautiful computer programs, not like this, that always ask to pay money. Yeah. There is Xchat, maybe you know, but it is buggy. Yeah. Martial arts, just to show the approach that was developed mainly in China and Japan, the approach to an art. And martial arts school, they can demonstrate on an easy way how it can be organized in modern society. So if you come to martial art teacher like Karate-do, who has black belt, he can tell you and share his knowledge of how this style, this organizational approach like school, how it behaves in your country, how it behaves in Germany. I answered your question. Okay.
Any more questions?
Did you have any problems with authorities in the USSR? That they
any problems? Sorry, with whom?
With the authorities, so with bureaucracy, or the guys from the government and stuff. Did they approach you and try to close you down or something, or wasn't that a problem at all in your country?
When I started this activity, then I was just a random man from Russian underground. So until I say yes, I will open the school, I have no even idea that, for example, that KGB really exists. So I look at films where. But when I started this activity, I have to face the world like it is, and I even was maybe shocked how many secret services exist, how many people are interested in what hackers are doing. At the first, guys from Russian authorities, they wanted to hire me so that I will work for them. When I refused, I had really a very bad time. I thought that they will shoot me the next day or something. But they just turned that you can work without connection with some security service or some, but sometimes when you do something that they dislike, maybe you even don't know before that they will don't like it. Sometimes they get negative reaction, and if you are not connected with them, they can get this negative reaction to other people. But always, if you have insistence and if you know what you are doing, then you can break everything that the world, everything negative that the world sends to you.
Can you talk about the financial arrangements for this school? Whether the students have to pay money and whether you receive financial support from other institutions and so on? I know with martial arts schools, often the individual students will pay for the maintenance of the dojo and so on.
The school is making on my own pocket money and donations from other people. You know that I tried in my life to work as an IT specialist. I was hired by one company in Russia, in World Trade Center in Moscow, and I was paid about $1,500 a month. But then I realized that when working as IT specialist, I don't change the world. I don't make something good. I just another man. That my work has no sense. So I go through this world of people who are hired by someone and decided to do things that I really like. And now I have not so much money as I could. And in our school, in our center in Moscow, we have not the best computers. Not the best computers. Many of my students have more money than me because they apply hackers art in different ways. So they go and give me donations, but I don't sell the art. So the only way to attain hacking art is to practice it, and it is no matter how much money you are, this money doesn't replace knowledge of computer languages, of computer networks. So the only way to study hacking art is to invest your time and be ready that it takes money from you also. If some good person have no money, I can teach from my own money. This person, but because I am not a very rich person, then I can afford not so many students of my own. A person in yellow dress wanted to say.
I'm going to say my question in both in Russian and English because so that you can understand better. Как у вас система аттестации работает и как вступительные экзамены? I asked how does the attestation system work and how do the entrance exams? What is the merits? На какие основы она строится?
Система аттестации напоминает систему, которая использовалась Гичином Фунакоши в карате-до, когда он осваивал карате-до. Is it okay that I answer it in Russian? Yeah, I will repeat in English. The attestation system is used very like karate-do attestation system, just it is not color belts, but color bracelets. So it is encoded, white bracelet is a student, black bracelet is a teacher, and other three bracelets is red, green, blue, traditional hackers colors. So in this system, House Computer Club gives everyone of participant the blue bracelet. This is the highest before master.
And how do you move up the system? How do you move up your ranks, and what is it based on?
Вступительные экзамены, они отличаются от аттестации. Вступительные экзамены проходят в сентябре. Человек приходит в Москву, приезжает или через интернет, если не имеет возможности, и сдает вступительные экзамены. Аттестации проходят 1 или 2 раза в год. Если вы изучаете компьютеры, то вы получаете знания, потом демонстрируете их на аттестации и, соответственно, получаете результат. Либо вы сдали, либо вы не сдали. Entrance examination is in September, and attestation are 1 or 2 a year. You study computers, and if you if you get computer knowledge, you can demonstrate it in a noble way on attestation. Before friends who practice with you, before guests, before your teacher. And if you really can write computer virus, or you really can crack some computer defense, then you get then you get something like a piece of paper that you are able to tie this bracelet on your hand. Also, I can give one little seminar at my camp, and of this exercise that was, and can give this paper that you fulfilled this task. This is not the whole attestation system, but this is an example how it is doing. Осталось 5 минут, мне it's 5 minutes left, organizers told. So maybe the last question, yes?
Yes, last question.
Hi, I'll just re-ask the last part of my question a little slowly. Sorry, I talk fast.
A little slower.
Yeah. How do the press react when you tell them of this martial arts analogy as an explanation of the ethics?
How newspapers, television?
Yeah, media and press.
Mass media usually react just a normal way. But there is one special thing in German television. And German, you know Spiegel. When I told to Spiegel about Karate-Do school, they don't publish Karate-Do. They publish, I think, Judo maybe. I don't know why they changed the name of school. Usually I use Karate-Do as an example because I have more experience with Karate-Do schools. But I think it's Judo is like the same. I don't know why in Germany they have such preference in mass media. Okay, so thank you very much for this lecture. I also, at the end, I must say that I'm really feel good that I survived until this day. And tell you now to worldwide hackers community about my work, because if I die until I tell this, the whole this thing that I was doing can just disappear. Now you know this approach that I was tested, and now it's up to you to solve what to do with this. I just continue my work. Thank you.